Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be hopefully making and sharing with you guys a guide on the Army Commander in Civilization 7. And I'm doing this because I am of the opinion that the Army Commander is the strongest unit, the strongest military unit in the game. But I think that the micro and the way that you control the military commander can be a little bit tough to get used to. So that's why I'm making this video. You can see here that I'm playing Isabella and I'm playing the Mississippians. I think that this strategy in this early game and this preference for military commanders should work regardless of your civilization or your leader. And it should be good for everybody. I'm using this set of character, this combination of Civ and Leader, just because I found a lot of success with. Notably, the extra gold we get from starting as Isabella means that I can always, when I get these goodie huts that give me the option to buy culture, I can always pay gold for culture, and that's kind of going to be our early game strategy. Is that we're just getting every culture pickup from the goodie huts because we are rushing towards discipline as early as possible. And I want to point out, too, that that's, like, obviously I'm going to do that while I'm trying to make a guide for the Army Commander, but even in games where I'm not specifically trying to make an Army Commander guide, I still think it's worth rushing out discipline as fast as humanly possible, and I like to go for two Army Commanders right out the gate. I think they're just that strong. So, anyway, there we go. Let's move on to when we get our commanders. Alright, so we're back, and we've got an army commander and a little bit of an army to show off what the army commander does out of the box. So the first thing I want to point your attention to is the army slots. So right now I've got the army commander selected, and you can see I've got this little UI with 6 boxes, 2 of which are locked. And what this means is that right now my commander can stack up to 4 units into him, and there's a promotion you can get which increases that to 6, but I don't have that right now since I just got the commander. So we'll show some of the basics of how you get units into the commander. So if I select a unit, so right now I've selected this Burning Arrow unit, which is immediately adjacent to my army commander, and you notice I have this option Add to Army. If I select that option and then I target the commander, then the Burning Arrow will disappear from the map. But you see, if I select my army commander now, that Burning Arrow is in one of the army slots. And now if I move the commander around, everything that's in the army slot will follow them, which is pretty nice. You'll also notice that my commander's movement speed, despite not having moved him yet, just jumped from 2 to 3. And the reason that happened is that commanders actually get an extra point of movement when they're packed. So even if the only thing you're using for the Army Commander for is as a bus to transport troops, it's still good at that because the Army Commander moves faster than anything but horses individually, so it's worth doing. The other way to get units into the Commander is by using this gather adjacent land units to form up on the Army Commander. But, so you'll notice that I moved this Burning Arrow. I used its entire movement to get adjacent to the Army Commander. And I did that because when you use this gather adjacent land units to form up, you'll notice that I grab both of the Burning Arrows that still have movement points left, but the Burning Arrow that is out of movement points was not able to join the army. So you can only, even if you're collecting them with the commander, they can only join the army if they have the required number of movement points to join. So let's go on to the next turn, and then I will show off. So now you see the commander can move up to 3 squares, and if the commander still has actions, you can unbox guys. So like here with the Burning Arrow, you notice that if I go into the Army Commander screen and then I select one of my Burning Arrows, it actually gives me this option here to leave the army, and if I do that, it'll allow me to select the square to plop my unit down on. Now, notably, you can only do this if the Army Commander still has movement remaining, so I'm going to go ahead, I've got 1 movement remaining. I'm going to move the last movement there, and you see if I try to disembark any of my other units now, there is not the option to disembark them because the Army Commander has no actions remaining. So that's important to keep in mind when you're using this unit. So let's put those guys on something that won't make me think about them. All right, and the last thing we're going to show is immediately, so we'll go ahead and plop that guy back into the army. So if I move my commander, the other option I have for deploying my army is to use this deploy stacked units. And what happens with this one is I get to select a direction, and then it will deploy my entire army prioritizing putting things as close as possible to the square I selected when I use the ability. You will notice, however, so the army commander still had 1 remaining point of movement left when I used that option, but dropping all of the units ended the turn manually. So most of the time, I think it is better to have the units individually leave the commander's stack rather than using this deploy stacked ability. The only time that I think that this deploy stacked ability is worth using over doing it manually is in a so you notice one of my burning arrows appeared in the same square as my army commander, and so we'll go ahead and go to the next turn so I can show off again. Gather everything up. So you notice if I'm manually deploying, I can't actually select the army commander's square to deploy something onto, but what I can do, so let's say I want to deploy something on the army commander's square, right? So that if I fill up the tiles that I'm going to target, so I'm gonna tell here we'll get this extra one out of the way. So I'm only deploying 1. So I have 1 unit left. I want him on my commander. What I can do is I can deploy and I can target a square where that unit can't go. And since all 3 of these squares forward are blocked off, if I select this square to deploy all units, it will deploy the last unit on top of the army commander. And that's the only time I really find myself using the deploy stacked units. Generally, it's just better to manually join and leave the army. So, all right, that's all for this clip, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so now we've progressed the game a little bit further again, and we have moved our army commander, we've moved our army over to a hostile city-state, or a hostile independent people, and we've deployed our army. We've also already taken the one of the warriors attacked our warrior. So we're going to go over what the army commander does. First thing to notice is this white command radius. This is important for a couple of reasons. All of these buttons down on the bottom are actions that they take your army commander's action and they make all of your units that fit that action do something. So here, for instance, you see I have the focused fire ability. So if I were to use this ability, then all of the archers that are in my command range and also in range of the thing that I want to shoot will fire their arrows. So I'll go ahead and show that off right now. All 3 of the archers shot, and you notice they also here, we'll progress it to the next turn so I can see the text on that ability yet. So all of my archers shot, and also you'll notice that this has text on it that they all get a little bit of extra combat strength too. So it does cost the commander's entire turn of movement to do the focus fire ability, but it is still better than just shooting manually if you want all of your archers to hit the same target. There's also this coordinated attack, which is just exactly the same thing, except that it uses your melee units instead of your ranged units to do a thing. And then you have Scorched Earth, which says, hey, everybody pillage. I can't do that right now because I'm not near a settlement, but that's an option. And then this last one will just order everything to start fortifying, which I don't think I've ever found any use in using this one. Like, sometimes it's faster than telling all of your units to individually fortify, but it doesn't actually provide any benefits over just telling the units to fortify manually, so I don't use it. The other thing to notice about this command radius, so we're just gonna use this archer up here. You see that because, like, if I shoot or I use this unit while it is within the command radius, my commander will gain a little bit of XP, right? Which is good. But so now this archer here is outside of the command radius. If I attack a unit there, you'll notice my commander doesn't gain any XP for that kill. So for that attack and damage. So even though that wasn't like we still got the damage on the enemy that we were trying to kill, we lost out on some XP on the commander. So you kind of want to be careful to not do that, because XP on your commanders is very, very good. Sweet, and we actually got to our first promotion, which is what I want to show you. So this promotion tree looks a little bit confusing. I'm going to simplify it for you a little bit. When you open up the promotion tree, you click on the Assault promotion, the very first one that reads Units can move after unpacking from this commander, and then you press Confirm. Don't read any other promotion on this screen yet. None of them matter until you've got Assault. Assault is the best promotion for the army commander by a lot. So we're taking that one first every single time. And you can do all sorts of cool combat tricks with the Assault promotion that I'll start showing you. So let's go ahead and I don't know, we'll just keep on shooting. Unfortunately, okay, so what's cool, so normally if let's say that I want this burning arrow to move into this difficult terrain spot, and to shoot an enemy, right? Normally, moving into that difficult terrain spot would end my movement, but because I've got the assault promotion now, what I can do is I can actually jump into the commander's army, and then from this screen, I can select the burning arrow and leave army and move him into that square, and you'll see that I actually still have a point of movement yet. So even though I used my commander to put a unit into difficult terrain, I can still use that to shoot immediately after, which is really nice. So the assault promotion, we basically just got a free extra attack out of our ranged unit, which is pretty relevant. Okay, let's see. We'll have you wait for a turn so we can get our actions back. Another thing you can do, so let's pretend that this burning arrow is a warrior, right? And I'm like, this warrior's on the front line, but he's almost dead. And this warrior with full health is not on the front line. We can also use the assault promotion to fix that real quick. We just put both units into the commander, and then we unbox both units where we want them to go, and we're able to just shuffle our units with our army commander. And you'll notice they did each use 1 point of movement, so I've only got 1 point of movement left on them, so it restricts my movement slightly. But the fact that I can just effectively reposition for free before attacking is often very, very strong. And one more thing, dispersing settlements also gives experience, but once again, the commander needs to be in range of it when it happens to get the experience for it. So just be careful not to disperse any independent settlements outside of the range of your commander. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Get a bunch of stuff. And then there's one other thing I want to show off with the assault promotion. I do not think that I need to make a new... Let's... not actually quite sure how to start a war with friendly independent civilizations yet, but we're going to go ahead and do that in order to show off the last bit of the assault promotion. So the last bit that's cool, so you notice this unit here, we're going to remember this square that it's on. It's just south of this mountain, right? So with the commander here, I can jump into the commander's army. I can move a couple of spaces, so we'll move 2 spaces to use most of the movement, and then I can unbox my burning arrow here, and you'll notice that my burning arrow can shoot all the way over to here. So starting from this tile, because of my army commander, I was able to cause an archer to attack something that is 6 tiles away. It's not quite as good as shooting at 6 tile range, because obviously my archer is now in danger of the enemy unit as well, but it is it's just remarkably powerful to be able to get that much shuffling around of your units out of the army commander. And I think we're actually going to end here, honestly. And that's not to say that these are the only important things to know about the army commander, but obviously the the game's only been out for about a week now, and there is so if we look at the army commander, there are 5 different promotion trees with 6 promotions each, and then 5 unique commendations. So I'm not going to pretend that I know enough yet about the army commander to give a complete guide on everything the unit can do. But I can tell you for a fact that literally just with the initiative promotion here that allows you to attack after unboxing a unit, I think this is the strongest unit in the game if you micro it a little bit, and I'm really excited to, if people aren't doing this micro already, I'm really excited to see what the community comes up with building around this on this unit. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about what I showed in the video, or you want to see any other bit of Civ 7, or want me to investigate any other piece of micro, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make the kind of content you guys want to see. Otherwise, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye!